I want to go ahead and say a few final thoughts as I'm ending this now with having played every single game from the Game Jam. I didn't think there were going to be this many entries, but there certainly were, and there were a lot of really good ones. All right, so if I scroll through all this list, I'm trying to think about which ones really, really stood out to me as like the ones that I liked the most. Let's see. And okay, let me start that over. Let me preface this. I think this, what I'm gonna do is at this segment here, the end of having played every single game, this segment is going to go first in a big playlist on YouTube of all of the recordings, so presumably someone finding the playlist is going to see this first. So let me say that I did not initially set out to play every single one of these games, but I ended up doing that after the first month or something, and there were like 20 entries. I thought, can't be that many. But I'm not a game developer yet necessarily. I'm gonna try to do some stuff and see what happens. But I'm a composer and musician, and so but I came at this because I played a bunch of the games from last summer's Game Jam, the Honda PS1 Game Jam. I played them much after the fact, after having played the 2021 demo disc. That was a lot of fun. And I played a few games from the Game Maker Toolkit Game Jam. So I'm pretty new to all this stuff. I'm new to understanding what people actually go through for this. So if any of the criticism that you hear of your game, if you're a developer watching this video after the fact, please know nothing is meant to actually discourage someone from making a game. I'm just an extremely critical person. And I look at everything through the lens of like, ooh, how can this be better? How can this continue onward? And I hope a lot of these get updated after the Game Jam. I think there were a couple of obvious standouts from this jam. I think the big ones being Shadow over Normoth was an excellent Resident Evil, I guess Silent Hill kind of thing. Again, I haven't played any of those games, so I'm just making my best guess, but I had a lot of fun with this game. I went back and played through it a second time, and it was great, especially for everything that being built during this jam. Really incredible. The other one, of course, being, where was it? Frontier Diver Progenexus. I feel like this is a pretty clear, second game that is incredible in its scope, in its detail, in its like professional presentation, like everything. Excellent. I think those were the two really obvious, like, yeah, these are full games. These are done, But of the ones that felt, because Shadow over Normoth and Frontier Diver Progenexus don't feel like Game Jam games. They feel like done. So of the games that feel like Game Jam games, I have to say standouts were probably, I think the Salvation Project was a pretty good standout from that creative use of the idea. I think I'm going to try to limit this to 3. So if you only have time to play 5 games from this jam, definitely play Shadow over Normoth. Definitely play Frontier Diver Progenexus. I would suggest the Salvation Project. I think this was a fun entry. I'm gonna say a weird one here, and I'm gonna pick two stranger ones. I'm gonna pick Wrong Side of the Forest. I think if you give it a chance and you stare at it long enough, you'll get it. And I think there's something really interesting about this one. What I really like about this is it's a point and click adventure. Unfortunately, there's no music. and it's a difficult puzzle adventure. The AI, the UI is not exactly well developed or anything, but it feels so unique compared to so many of the things. Like, it doesn't have like the cynicism of, you know, the world ending like so many of these. That was a common theme that I saw running through all this. Is like the submechanophobia felt like a natural way to put in climate themes, and that's fine. It's just, now that I've played like, you know, 12 games that all have climate themes, it's a little less impactful or interesting. This game feels completely, I would say, almost innocent. It's very different. It feels like a game made to be a game, and you know, maybe it doesn't always meet its goals that well or that skillfully, but there's a really unique perspective, I think, happening in this game. There's a unique look at the I don't know how to say it other than like the creatures are kind of unique. Like there's clearly, I don't know, kind of a low skill thing going on, but it also does feel like a very early PC game that has like some pre-rendered CG graphics. So like, it's such a unique one. I think you just have to try it and see what I mean. There's a charm to it that's really, really weird and unique. That's all I can say to describe it, is unique. You gotta try it. I think it's worth it. Maybe you won't see what I do in it, but I think it was cool. Another one was, let's see. Man, there were so many good things in here. If I were to pull it down to just a few, I mean, scrolling through these, I really liked Essence Structure. I thought this was a fun platformer that was really really atmospheric and kind of calming. I would say this was meditative and calming more than anything. Essence Structure was a good one. Unholy Eyeballs had some really good ideas going for it. I think it also had like little moments of cool comedy. It's by the creator of Mummy Sandbox, so I think there's a lot there. And if you like the visual novel RPG maker walking sim thing, I would say you can't do worse than There Swings a Skull. I think this one was the strongest of the three of its type that were in this game jam. It has like the most complete narrative. It has a good thought that goes into it. It's got cute art, and I think it has the most emotional punch to it. The other ones didn't faze me at all, whereas this one was like, oh, they're starting to get at me a bit. I thought this one was okay. You know, these kind of games are usually not for me. The way that they're presented, and they're you know, they're very story heavy, which doesn't work well for streams and all that. But I think if you play this one on your own time, there's something here for you. And then I guess Symphony of Seven Souls. I think that's probably the last one I would recommend. Is boot this one up. I don't know if this one's one that I would say you know, makes it quite to the finish line, but they had a strong concept, and they put something into it. So I would look forward to that one becoming another game. From the 72 hours, Turgor Pressure was the winner. I mean, it was kind of the only game with Simon the Shark, but for a 72-hour jam, that game was impressive. I thought it was great. I thought it really effectively used its time, put together a good game for that short time. And you know, I think Siren's Wharf stood out as kind of a good, complete, actual horror experience. This is one of the few ones that I was like, oh, I'm actually feeling a little bit spooked out by this one. That one kind of got me. Having a gun and being told you're gonna have to use it, that was good. I like that. Okay, and And I would say the last one I'd recommend is Headlines from the Deep. This one, it's like a 10-minute game. It's probably shorter than that, but the visual presentation is probably unmatched in, well, no, that's not true. Like I said, the other two were really good, but this one has incredible visuals. I think this one definitely is up there. Really, really strong. And it's mostly a walk and talk kind of game, but really, really good art. Really good UI, really good readability to text. That's a thing that I haven't noticed that often, that I was really appreciative of, is the dialogue boxes are very readable. So great. Cool. Well, anyway. All right, so concluding thoughts. If you're a dev watching this after the fact, then first of all, congratulations on getting something done. I was just looking at this page. It said there was like, what, 500? Oh, it doesn't say anymore. But I think when it was up, there were like 500 people participating, and only 80 games made it to submission. So, I mean, first of all, that's a huge feat to have one of the games in this jam, and that's awesome. Even if I didn't like the game, at least it was done, right? It got done, and I'm sure all the things that I, trash talked or whatever were things that you knew you didn't get done or whatever. I'm sure that's the case, so I feel a little bad about that. But I'm not one of those people that plays every single game that has a slightly dark room and goes, oh no, I'm gonna jump scare, and that's not me. But anyway. I'm a hugely critical person. That's just how it is. But this game jam was a lot of fun. Checking out every single one of these games, they all had something different. So that was cool. Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, if you're watching this after the fact, then check out all the games that I played. And of course, all these games are free, so that's a huge, awesome thing. Oh, one more game I wanted to mention. This I was just seeing that the Sewer Incident was really good too. Play that one before I leave. All right, that's enough. Go play all these games. They're awesome. And if you feel like it, toss a few bucks their way. These people are working hard. And they're providing, hours and hours and hours of entertainment. In total, I think I've probably played 25 hours of free games just from this jam. Incredible. So, if you got some spare change, throw it their way, because these are good things. All right, that's it for me. Hope to see you next time.